Hi, everybody. Welcome to In the Neighborhood. Jim Button and I were just arguing about Saving Private Ryan. These are the things you do on a Monday morning, don't you? Russ, Broom, Mandy, Stobo. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the neighborhood. How is everyone?
I'm good.
So good.
I'm good. I'm just not sure your child should have watched Saving Private Ryan.
Can I
on
say
Mother's Day?
On Mother's Day, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mandy. Even better. Why don't you go back and take him to the park again, Dave? Jeez.
Good. In my defense, Your Honor, if I may say, the thing is he really wanted to watch 1917, so we watched that. And I made him do a report on World War I first, so we had to understand it. And then he really wanted to watch something from World War II. And so, anyway, then we watched Band of Brothers. That was Saving Private Ryan. So, okay.
Why don't you get him into Apocalypse?
Get
him into Apocalypse Now. Maybe some...
State of Mind, yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Red line is really good.
Yeah, it's just preparing him for COVID.
Would be perfect.
Look I'm doing my best as a parent, okay?
Oh, that's right. Great. All right, we're not supposed to be judgy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be judgy.
Yeah. No, that's a great education program.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think that's brilliant. I can't believe I didn't do that with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a kid's version of Platoon, but it's only 7 minutes long because you have to edit everything out. So
yeah, 7 minutes of Platoon. Yeah,
it's great. You could do that.
Dave left the show.
Look at I'm doing it.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah,
but where
totally
was Blythe?
Yeah.
Okay,
but where was Blythe?
This is obviously It's a Dandy is not a war movie, so don't watch that with him.
Yeah.
Just to really paint this picture, guys, Blythe was making supper.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh my God.
Okay, wait.
No, I don't think we have to wait. We have the picture.
Blythe made she was making sourdough bread, and then she said, oh, and I'm going to make a homemade tomato soup because I had a bunch of leftover tomatoes. And she wanted to do it. So I said, let me take John, and I'll keep him busy.
Did he sleep last night?
What, Daddy? I can't sleep. I can't sleep, Daddy.
You should show him reindeer games today.
Okay, enough.
Okay.
How's everyone else doing today?
Wonderful, thank you.
Anyone else traumatized their children or were inappropriate for Mother's Day, or is it just me?
No, I think just you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just you, yeah.
Mandy, how was your Mother's Day? How about that?
My Mother's Day was great. It was wonderful. The amazing Centera sent me a gift basket last week full of a bunch of wonderful things. So Luca was so excited, and on Saturday he kept being like, I've never been a big kid for Mother's Day. I'm so excited. And then I think we really disappointed him on the actual day. So he made me granola and yogurt, and then gave me a granola bar and some goldfish. And a glass of water. And that was my breakfast. And then I asked if there was any coffee, and Phil was like, no, I didn't go grocery shopping. That's okay. And then we had an amazing cake dinner, and they sent everything, and it was incredible. It was great.
Yeah, I like how you try. No dinner, no coffee, no.
But you did get a goldfish.
It's great.
Yeah.
Goldfish.
Yeah, and I did get a card from Jack, and it was beautiful. He like recreated a painting, a moose painting that I did out of markers, and I was very surprised. I didn't think it was coming. So
no, you were totally slamming him on Friday.
It's slamming him. I'm trying to figure out this, like, having a teenager and him being bigger than me, and I don't know how to parent. So I think that's what I was trying to do. Slam him.
Slash slam.
Slam. Yeah.
Wow. Russ, how did anyone ruin your day? Anything?
Save us, Russ.
Oh,
it was amazing. Am I coming across negative? It was amazing. Phil, thank you. It was amazing. Thank you, guys.
Well, we kind of did the rounds because, I'm currently married, but not to the mother of my kids. So we dropped off a bottle of wine to the kid's mom, but unfortunately she was only been under the weather yesterday. And then I went and saw my mother, and we dropped off a fondue for her from
fondue from you.
Fondue restaurant.
Russ we need subtitles for Russ.
Yeah.
I think
I don't know what to tell you. I've tried every device. So I'm just gonna go like this.
Yeah.
Hey, 2 thumbs up for us.
Russ said of all the people on a show, he likes Jim and Mandy because his thumbs were pointing at them. So I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
So there, we're good.
Yeah. Little Jack Horner sat in the corner.
Hey, Jim, not only are you a tremendous person and you and Tracy good people, but you were our official in the neighborhood delivery people yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
For our Hotel Arts prize pack. Tell us a bit about that experience.
That was a bit of an honor. The women's shelter found us a lovely mom with 3 children, and Hotel Arts put together a special meal. They had their Sunday Mother's Day brunch happening, and they created a special meal for these kids with oatmeal and pancakes, and it was beautiful just to be able to. Tracy went in and dropped it off, and it was very well received. The mom loved it. She loved it, which is great. So
that's so good.
So nice to be the ambassador to be able to deliver that. And I got to go way through Bowness, and I haven't been through the far ends of Bowness in a couple of years. So it's really coming along nicely out there.
Oh, that's great.
So those are Mother's Day.
Again, a special thank you to Fraser and everyone at the Yellow Door Bistro and Hotel Arts for being so generous and setting that up for that family. Wasn't that great?
Yes, it was great.
And George Canyon for playing the game with us, even though he did lose. That was a fun game, I gotta say.
Yeah. He plays a bit loose with the rules. That kid.
Hey, do we? I want to. The judge gives it a thumbs down. When do you guys feel like we have crafts, but we also have birthdays, and we have a very special birthday today that I want to make sure we get to. And that is Rob, my brother Rob's daughter, Alex's birthday today.
Alex's birthday?
It's Alex's birthday today. Yeah. Do you have any special guns for Alex's birthday, Mandy? What do you got for us?
I got one right here and one right here. Alex, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Alex!
Happy birthday, Alex! My wife's cousin's kid, Charlie, in England is also a birthday today. Charlie, I don't know if Charlie's watching or not, but I just want to throw it in there. And if there's anyone else who's having a birthday, let us know, because I'll tell you what, we got some pistols ready to shoot for your birthday.
Aren't we gonna? I don't think there's guns for the Bobbies. The Bobbies don't carry guns in the UK, so you have to do some batons.
I don't know how to do that. And around my back.
Yeah, Charlie, that's for you. That's how they. That's how the letter of the law works. And they just spin those things around.
That was good.
Mandy, I bet you Alex and Charlie and anyone else who's having a birthday today sure would like a craft. Do you have a Monday morning craft for us?
Well, you know what? I do, Dave. But today is a bit of a different craft because it's Mindful Monday. I wanted to do another craft that just allows us to get present in our brains and have a bit of a decompression. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Take me on down there, guys.
Whoa, did you fall down the stairs?
That was tough. All right, you guys. So this one's really quite easy. It's really very simple for our brains, and it helps us in moments of stress and panic. So what you want to do is pick 3 colors. I'm going to pick this nice little green, and you're going to make just a bunch of different sized rectangles on here.
All right.
So you're just going to paint some different size shapes. So we'll just do, a little bit here, a little bit there. So this one's quite fun, and it's really fun to experiment with color theory. So if you do a bunch of these, you can see the difference in how the colors work together. So we're going to add in some yellows, and then I'll add gray, and you guys get the point. You're going to fill the whole page with this, and you're just really just losing yourself in painting, not thinking about anything, not thinking about Mother's Day or war movies or anything at all. It might look very faint, but then when you're done and it's dry, you're gonna, over the shapes, I'll show you here, not on the wet paint, but over the shapes, you're gonna take your Sharpie and you're gonna do a similar sized rectangle. So that'll be over a color, and then you're just gonna fill it in with lines. So some will be horizontal lines and some will be vertical lines. And the beauty of this is you want to try and not be perfect. You don't need to get the lines perfect. You just need to get your brain relaxed and ready to go. And then you have something like this, which in a frame is a beautiful abstract, and it really helps your brain get, just let go of a bunch of stuff. So that's kind of our Mindful Monday craft. Back to you, Dave.
We got winks, and look, and you're already back. I mean, this is a dangerous question because it might be a long answer that you don't feel like is too much. But when you say color theory, what does that mean?
Well, just like us, all of the colors have different relationships with other colors, and so it's really interesting to pick 3 or 2 and just move those around with different shapes and see how they react to each other and the feeling that you get when you're looking at them. That's all I mean.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Because I appreciate, but to me, it's still a theory. I'd rather wait till it's
so in its color theory, as you said, it relates to each of us. Would Dave be black and I would be white? Or good and evil? I'm just trying to work.
Black and white is great. Only if you guys listen to Michael Jackson on a boombox when you walk together, and then you are black and white.
Yes. And our faces change. Look at someday if our country's ever attacked, my kid is going to be ready to.
Yeah,
that's true. This is true.
Should we also say a special thank you to Coca-Cola for sponsoring Jim Button today? Is that part of what we want to do?
We're like, what the heck?
Thanks, Coke.
Yeah.
This was not gotten illegal. This was actually never stolen by anybody. No.
Well, there's still time.
Mandy, any coloring? What's some coloring for us to do? Anything?
Oh, you know what? I do have some coloring for you guys. Today we've got the classic, the best, the wonderful Snoopy.
Oh, Snoopy!
Oh, fantastic!
Mindful Mondays. Yes. Let's get into some peanuts and do some of these beautiful abstract paintings, and then we're gonna feel amazing for the week ahead.
That is awesome. You know what? If you put a tunic on him and maybe a hat, he could be the Red Baron for Dave. Go shoot down some Zeros.
That's coming tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
Conflict is a natural part of life. We need to educate each other on how to others.
Yeah.
Forget it. I'm just gonna call Avnish right away because this just seems like.
Yeah.
But first, Jim, is the internet funny?
I thought for sure you're going right past me because I was making so much fun of it. I saw it happening in front of my eyes. And I thought, I wonder if maybe it wasn't funny. Maybe I did something too far. Okay, while Dave was drinking in the morning while his son and him were playing, watching war movies, I started thinking, maybe we should do a little bit of a drinking theme Monday. So maybe you could just throw the first one up there, Mandy, because I think we can just say that tonight Dave has to be careful. Everyone, please be careful tonight. There's a DUI checkpoint on the corner of the hallway in the kitchen. Be safe. These are all These are all booze related. Maybe it's not a good one for Mondays, but maybe it's a good one for Mondays. Who knows?
I like to go to Avnish after the booze.
Yeah, my face masks have finally arrived.
Mondays.
Yeah. So, everybody's having problems. This is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should be a beer glass, but whatever.
Yeah, sure. Take where you can.
If you have a glass of wine in each hand, you can't touch your face. Same as with beer. What's with all the wines? Why did I do this to myself? Hey, back to our El Arroyo. These guys are killer. Step aside, coffee. This is a job for alcohol. See, these guys keep popping them up all the time. It's so good.
It's so
I love it. Well, this is, and actually, this is where. I forgot. Oh, Russ, we ruined everything, didn't we? Again for your.
Do you want to go back in?
Look at Russ's eyes; they're so wide open.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
There you go.
Oh, this internet last piece is funny.
Is funny.
So
there.
Was we should do it in past tense. Can you do it again?
The internet.
In past tense.
The internet was funny.
There we go. Now it's relevant.
There. Hey, and gang, we're thinking of doing some new, trying something new this week. We are going to be on Friday's show. Speaking of drinking, 4:00. We're doing a happy hour show on Friday. What do you think about that?
4:00 Friday, happy hour.
Yeah. So that's going to be something everyone can look forward to. So we're going to do some games. Michael Bernard Fitzgerald is going to be with us this week. I hope he can do the 4:00.
Are we playing against him?
Maybe. Do you think you can take him?
Oh, totally can take him.
We also have Richard Bartram's coming on that show from WestJet. Ooh. We're going to make him play, and we're going to find out what's the deal with WestJet.
Take him too.
Cool. You think so? You're feeling good.
Hey, Mandy. Mandy and I are like a team.
we can take you.
Yeah.
Richard, we're coming.
Yeah, Bartram, you got nothing.
I'm going to bring Avnish in here to try to bring to talk to him maybe about Saving Private Ryan as a mindful mind.
And maybe all the aggressive tones we have going on in the show.
Are they aggressive? I feel full of love. I love my family. I love you guys.
Yeah,
it's an aggressive. I love movies.
I'm gonna take you.
Anyway. There it is.
Hi, Avnish. Now, first of all, what's your opinion on how age appropriate Saving Private Ryan is for kids to help them get centered? What do you think? Just off the top of your head.
Like 9 and up.
See? 9. I just made it. Just made it.
Yeah.
Yes.
What you don't know about Avnish is his scale's up to 100.
I think I was like 8 or 9. Maybe 10. Let's move into the double digits just so that my dad feels a little bit better. But we watched Jacob's Ladder. And if you like, that is right. And
that's super intense.
Thinking was up, but it was me and him in this room, and it sort of stuck with me and messed me up a little bit since then. But yeah, Private Ryan. I mean, that's easy.
Yeah, what could go wrong, Dave?
This is okay. Look here is my theory on Saving Private Ryan. Okay, it was a little intense, fire, but John, like kids his age are all playing like in Roblox. They're playing shooting games on their iPad. Right? And where you die and your Lego pieces blow up and then you get back together and you keep playing. This shows him the reality of what guns actually do. So it's an educational experience. Thank you.
Yeah. And cheers, Dave.
Yeah. So bravo. Like, but now that I heard that he can play kill other people and then go watch other people kill other people, I feel better. It's good. No, you're doing great.
Avnish, take me out of this hole. Avnish, you gotta help me. Okay, go, Avnish.
We save ourselves from ourselves.
That's perfect. I'm writing that down.
Are you guys hearing Avnish well?
Okay, Avnish, speak to us. Let's see if we can hear you well.
I'm having a hard time hearing him.
I'll move it over.
There.
Morning, everyone. Mindfulness Monday. So I wanted to talk about actually a couple of quick things that one. So taking off what Jim was talking about last week. So Jim, thanks so much for picking that up. That was awesome. Watched mindfulness and was really inspired by the idea of you feeling it right in your butt, right? Like so, it's like the moment that you know that your butt is sinking into that chair. That's sort of where your mind knows that it's in a relaxed place. So that I think is sort of the idea around for all of us, right? Where is what's the human or the physical response in your body to know that you're in a relaxed state. And so that I think it's a really important kind of consideration, and you found yours. So what I was thinking about is after a couple of weeks ago we did a room filling exercise with your energy, your physical energy. I wanted to turn it around a little bit and see if you can do something that is so much closer to home. And so the intention of this exercise is being able to see if you can feel your blood moving through your hands. So if you've got this idea, like take a look at your hands right now, stare at them, maybe palms down, I think is sort of probably the easier way, because it circulates right through until your fingertips. And so, like, can you feel this blood rush into your hands? Can you feel the energy of your fingertips? Thinking about this idea of having your fingernails grow, right? And so just take a second and actually just sort of watch and feel the, like, it's strong right now. Does anybody else, can you feel it? Can you feel sort of this, like, a tingling sensation in your hands? I feel like, Russ, you use your hands all the time. Do you ever, like, look down at them and be like, hey, where are you guys at?
Yeah, because sometimes they cooperate with me and sometimes they don't.
Totally.
Like, why are you doing that? But yeah.
Mandy, what are you seeing? You're clearly seeing something.
Oh, I'm just staring at my hands. and I can feel it, though. It's amazing. Right? Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
The nice part of starting with your hands is that they're right here, right? Like you can actually see them. Where we really want to be is kind of like where Jim was talking about these couple of breaths. If you can start feeling it in your feet. So if you can move from kind of your crown to your feet as a full body relaxation, it's you know when you're a little kid and there's that game where they crack a head on your egg on your head and it sort of runs down your body. Yeah, try to have that run down all the way from the crown of your head all the way to your toes. And you start thinking about it, and it's like a body scan, because at some places it works and some places it doesn't. And if we're thinking about sort of a mindfulness way of like 30 seconds, you get out of bed in the morning, you put your feet on the ground, and just try to see what happens if you sort of crack an egg on your head, and see if you can run all the way down your body and then end up in your feet. And it's a great simple way of relaxing. It's a great way of orienting your body for the rest of the day. But it gives you a quick chance to check in into where you're at. And if you can feel the tingling sensation in your feet, like hopefully it's sort of like not a nerve pain or something like that. But if you've got something like, if you can move the feeling down from the top of your body all the way down to your feet, it's a knowing and a way to be able to develop confidence in your practice, because now you're connected to your entire body. And if it's difficult to start off with your hands. Sort of look at this and see if you can feel the blood moving from the tip, and they'll cycle through your hands and come back out. So that's sort of
that's cool.
The orientation exercise. Yeah. And Russ, talk to your hands, right? If they're not cooperating, and be like, hey, come on, guys, what's going on here? Let's work together to make this happen. So that's a really quick sort of body exercise. And like Jim was saying, a couple of deep breaths to be able to get yourself into it, but head to toe is sort of the great way, and you'll start to see where your body requires a little bit more love. And it's just a good way to start yourself. So start each day, actually.
Beautiful.
It's really, and now the other thing I noticed with my hands, and this is maybe from my days as remember the Kardashian? What was the Kardashian who they said her makeup and her face didn't match her hands? It was a thing. So people were saying, oh, she showed herself doing her makeup, and they said, look how much different the color of her face is than her hands. And it was a bit goofy online. However, that's the one thing you can't, and I look at my hands, I think that's my dad's hands. Like, when did those wrinkles and those spots show up? So yeah, I'm trying to be, but it's an amazing thing to go, these are the ones. This is it.
But I think that's pretty cool. When you start looking at your hands, you start seeing sort of your dad or other, like, what a great sort of trigger to be able to move into a reflection point of like, what else do I hold in these hands, right? What else do they need to hold? That's those are sort of deep questions.
Isn't that interesting?
I did want to share. Sorry, go ahead.
Go. No, you go.
Oh, me. Okay. I did want to share something that was really something that really important that I think we don't do enough, which is sort of capturing our wins when they come up. So we're talking about the gratitude journal. We're talking about sort of marking these things down. And I know early on Russ was like, yeah, you know what, I think about it. I do the reflection on it. I think part of this is actually creating a physical record so that you can go back and be like, when did I win? Like, how was I feeling back then? What does this look like? And one of the things I wanted to share with you, because I was doing this work with a client of mine recently, and so they were trying to figure out how can they shift their mindset to be able to attract sort of a different client base. They needed to pivot their business. They were looking at what does this actually look like, and so we were walking through the characteristics that they currently use to be able to go and find clients and good clients for them. And what was happening, as you can imagine, is sort of it was very technical, right? So I'm looking for a company of 100 to 250 people. They're going to have annual revenues of X. They're going to have a social imprint of this. This is the type of industry they're in, right? Like very technical in terms of the specs that they were looking to attract. Now, thinking about the dynamic changes, if we're asking for those specific criteria, those companies may not necessarily exist right now, right? In the sense that you have a 250 person company, but they've had to lay off, 60 or 70% of their staff. Then now all of a sudden that organization sort of drops out of your criteria. They're not excluded from the way that you have decided to define what you're looking for. So what we did was we started to elevate the conversation. We said, well, instead of just those technical things, what are some of the characteristics? What are some of the belief systems or the values that they hold that can start influencing the types of people that are attracted to you based on sort of based on the ideas of what they are and who they are in relationship to you, rather than just what are their technical criteria for a company. So they did that. And they've been fairly successful in being able to now attract other people, and their story is theirs. I wanted to share with you. After doing that exercise, I started to shift up, and I was like, what do we want to do with our company as well? I'm going to share sort of what we came up with, which was we came up with 5 criteria of the types of people that we want to attract, to us. And the last one's the one that's most interesting because that's where the story comes from. So it started to move into, so we want to work people that we want to attract people that we want to work with. We want to attract people who want a stronger community. We want to attract people who can pay their bills, because that was a very, very important piece. It is just being like, they're solvent and they're able to do that. We want to be able to attract those people. We want to attract people who challenge and grow. And so their status quo are sort of what we're bringing in. We want to make sure that we're feeling challenged. And we want to attract people who live in the community like we do. And that has a kind of a broad definition, because each of us, and I think about our team, we exist in the community in a really interesting way. What was fascinating, especially around we want to attract people who live in the community that we do, was I hopped onto a video call last week with the head of HR for a company that we're just newly working with, and we're starting to chat. And this is we've chatted probably 3 or 4 times sort of over the phone. And this is the first time we're on video conference. And she said, "Hey, you know what? I'm really sorry, but the house next to me is getting torn down. It's probably going to be really loud. It's just sort of a construction day." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no problem." She's like, "We live in Marteloup." And I'm like, "Oh, so do we." And so we started chatting a little bit about the neighborhood. So it turns out we live on the same avenue. We live 6 streets apart. We end up knowing the person whose home is getting torn down. So we know her neighbor. And so we're starting to talk about all these kind of small pieces. And she knows that I've got a little guy. And so she said, "Are you thinking about putting Soren into daycare or anything?" I was like, "I'm not sure, maybe play school." And she's like, "Oh, there's a great play school up the road, the Marteloup Play School. I think there's a different name for it." I was like, "Oh, is that the one in the basement of the church?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's the one." I was like, "Oh." Beach, my wife, her best friend, is a parent there. She's like, "Yeah, Christine, we know her, of course." I was like, "Oh, we were there at a fundraiser about 3 or 4 months ago at that event." And she's like, so were we. And so we start chatting about this, and then so I met her husband during that event. I didn't meet her, and we donated some village beer for the silent auction. And guess who bought the village package for the house? Right? They bought it for them. So they won that silent auction. And so it was this moment in which all of a sudden people who live in the community like we do is sort of that there's too many perfect alignments for this to be sort of a coincidence or something random. Right? And so you have these beautiful moments where it's like, life is, or what do they say, that it's life is stranger than fiction, right? Like that,
Mm-hmm.
And this is sort of one of those moments where it's like, of course we hung out, 6 months ago, and of course you bought the beer package that we brought, and now we get to work together. And the way that it sort of shortened the relationship cycle was like, now we're instantly sort of, we know each other, and it's just sort of changed the dynamic of how things start. So it's these types of pieces, that's a perfect example of what goes into a journal, how you capture it, how you share this example with others, how you talk about what's going on and how we're winning these days, I think is really, really important.
It's great. And and it's we're all trying to find a way, and this is a great way. Thanks so much, Avnish.
Yeah, no, thanks for letting me share it.
And I was just noticing too, I should say this. I noticed that Julie Friedman-Smith from Parenting Powers is watching us. And I just want to say, Julie, that Avnish is really what this show's about, not about me showing my kids Saving Private Ryan. I just want to go on record for that to say. Julie and Parenting Power, you're good people. And I completely agree with everything you say, including when Julie Friedman-Smith, I believe, told me to watch Saving Private Ryan with my kids, now that I think about it. Speaking of get-togethers, Jim Button, friends of ours and friends of yours too, Avnish, and all of ours at =MC², are putting on a heck of a party for grads this year. And I want to bring it up because if you want to get to a drive-through grad in the Calgary area, there is a chance to do that, James.
It's pretty cool how they're doing it, isn't it? Have you seen the diagram? Where you drive up in your car, you get to a stage, it's one family per car. You get to a stage, the kid jumps out, goes and gets a gown. Each gown is being cleaned every day and is in a different plastic bag. You put on the gown, you walk across the stage, big camera, you're zoomed in, you get your diploma, you walk off, car's there to pick you up, you get in the car, and everybody honks their horns and all the good things happen. There'll be speeches and all sorts of other stuff happening as well. But it's a great, in today's environment, it's so great that these kids are going to be able to have a chance to have a memory of graduating. So bravo for the team at =MC² for putting that together.
So I'm just going to go, there's a website, you're talking about it, Gary, or Jimmy. I just had it and it went there. Drive-through grad. The address is, if you want, drive-through, TRHUgrad2020.com. Yeah. If you're in the Calgary area and you have a kid graduating or a son or daughter, shouldn't say kid, a young adult, drive THRUgrad2020.com. It's just a way to get out there and get a cap on. Avnish was texting me before we started, and he said,
Dave, you're gone right now, hey?
What?
Where am I? I can't see you. I can hear you.
Wait.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. There you go.
Now?
Oh. There you go.
Whoa. Avnish was bugging me, said, Dave, I feel it down into my toes and I need to dance. So let's move this thing, shall we? How about that, everybody? Thanks for the great show. Thanks for keeping us centered, everybody. Thank you, Avnish. And it's time to do something.